Oh, it's nice.
5, 6. What are you plugged into, right?
Whatever we just did was nice.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So we don't have any audio, right?
Right now, nothing.
Okay. I'm not listening.
Unplug one at a time.
Okay.
Buzz?
Nope, still there.
Still there. Buzz?
Gone. Lift that one.
Who's this one?
Plug it in and lift it.
This guy's killing us. Where'd you come from, Chris? Come on.
No
First
good.
day?
Same bad. Same bad.
Get him new gear.
That man a cable.
Whatever he did, I got on it.
It wasn't plugged into the
That would be
camera,
why.
so we should be good now. That was the solution for that. Hey, check 1, 2. Hey. Yep, and that solves that issue. Well, they're good in the house now. He just wasn't plugged in.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You seeing it now? You good? Oh, you guys are in that box. Is anybody? You're the only in this box now, right? You're the only one in this box. Okay, so your cord was back feeding. Yes, I think it was. All right, we're on anyway, guys.
Welcome. We're really, there's a lot of optimism and excitement about the season here. In this building, Coach Nurse will go into what he's seen this offseason in his early days as coach that also makes him excited. We start with, we have the MVP of the league. We have one of the great up-and-coming players in Tyrese Maxey in this league. We've got winning players in Tobias and Melton. We've got additions we love in Pat Beverley and Kelly Oubre and Bamba. We've got young, great players like Paul Reed. We come in here every day and feel like we're going to show the league that this is a team that can win. I understand there's a lot of skepticism out there right now, and I would say that in years where there's actually optimism, you go back a year from now and say everyone had a lot of optimism, but people were saying, hey, a lot of optimism, but let's see you show it. Show it in the regular season. Show it in the playoffs. Obviously, we came up short, but in a year where there's a lot of skepticism, I I think I would ask the same thing. Let us show you. Let us show you in the regular season. Let us show you in the playoffs. So I think I would ask for that. I love the Sixers fans. I know they're going to be there. They're going to be passionate. And I left off one big reason for optimism last, so he could talk as Coach Nurse. I love what he's going to bring. Our players are excited to work with him. They've already had a chance in the voluntary workouts this offseason, and I'll let Coach Nurse talk about what he's seeing.
Thanks, Daryl. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome to a new season. Since the last time I was in front of you, we've had a good summer, and I would say a couple things. One is Daryl alluded to some of the voluntary workouts and some of just the skill development, player development, some of the runs in LA, some of the last couple weeks of voluntary workouts here. It's been a 10 out of 10 from a work rate effort. I think the guys have really worked hard, and the spirit that they've brought to the gym has also been as really as high as it can be. So I've had a really enjoyable start here to the summer, and a positive one. I think Daryl touched on a bunch of things. I think there's a lot of talent. There's some depth we've added. I think that what I'm looking forward to tomorrow hitting the floor is we got a lot of battles. You know, we got a lot of wing players that are going to have to fight it out to see who's going to, first of all, make the team, second of all, make the rotation, possibly make the starting lineup, whatever it is. And I think as a coach that you want that. Certainly got to know this team very well, as I've said before, from all the competitions we've had and playing you guys. And just a lot of respect for how good the team is. Part of the reason that I'm fortunate enough to be here in front of you today is it's a good team that hopefully we can, work on some things, do things, see some things that I think that can make them even better, and we'll go from there. But I'm excited to be here and excited to get to Colorado tonight and get things started tomorrow.
I wanted to address James Harden. He's not here today. He continues to seek a trade, and we're working with his representation to resolve that in the best way for the 76ers and hopefully all parties. So with that, we'll turn it to questions.
Gina Mizell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Daryl, just to expand on your comments about James, just for both of you guys, just what is kind of the path forward, both on the court with camp and then just, as you do continue to try to seek the proper trade?
Yeah, I think in terms of a trade, I will continue to work on those fronts. And, if he's here, then Coach will work with him on the court. So, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Gina, for me, it's obviously we've kind of got plan A, plan B, right? We've got to get the team ready regardless. We're expecting him to show up. He shows up, we go. If he doesn't, we go, right? There's two ways to look at it, and we proceed and we really get to work in building our foundation of what we want to do, getting all our principles in, all the things that we want to do, and play the style of play we want to play regardless.
And it went all the way down to the trade deadline. Do you anticipate that this is something that you want to hurry up and get over with? As far as getting a resolution, especially where you see, Boston and Milwaukee making moves?
Yeah, I think we will, I think I said this earlier in the summer, I think it stays the same. We'll either move James for a player of a caliber that puts us, helps our championship contention, or for draft picks and things like that will allow us to, in short order, go get a player like that. Short of that, it will continue as long as that takes. So. We're gonna, treat James like every other player on the roster, as is required by the CBA. So.
Daryl, Austin Krell, 97.3 ESPN over here. You guys spent the third fewest dollars of all teams to make it to the second round of the playoffs this year or beyond. there were no significant trades made in the offseason. How do you justify that to an MVP caliber player you have in Joel Embiid?
Yeah, because I think we have a great up-and-coming player in Maxey. We have a great roster. Obviously, Joel's a very smart player. Those teams that added players also had to subtract significant players. Look, I mean, things need to play out. We feel strongly we have a winning team. We have a team that can win and make a lot of noise in the playoffs. I understand we need to prove that, but teams emerge. You know, you go into last season and say a Miami and a Denver, they were not even in the top 3 of teams that thought could make the finals. So, look, we have a lot of questions to answer. Obviously, the James is the big one. Coach talked about battles at different positions, but we feel like we have the pieces. I didn't understand your spending point. We're near the top of the league in spending overall, so quite a bit into like the tax, and so I don't actually understand your spending
Just like
point.
the offseason, like free agency moves this offseason in terms of like minimum.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, like, overall in the league, we're spending like near the top. You know, Josh and David and both Davids, David Blisser, David Adelman, you know, give us all the resources, and we're spending like near the top of the league. That's not an issue.
And has Joel signaled that he is on board with the situation with James in terms of continuing forward?
Look, you can ask Joel that today. I spoke to Joel yesterday. Joel loves this team, loves this city, and you know he's committed to winning a championship here. Look, I don't take the responsibility lightly, though. That you know, myself, Elton, all the front office, we have to show all the time that we're putting the team in a great situation to win, and that's our job. So even though obviously Joel loves this city and is looking forward to winning a title for this city, I still look. I know my job is to continue to improve the team and show all the players that this is a team where we can win.
Hey, Daryl, over here. So you mentioned Joel, and the follow-up on what Austin asked, right after the Celtics made the Drew move yesterday, and I'm sorry to be reading tea leaves with tweets, but he sends out, "This offseason was fun, laughing my ass off." What did you take that to mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's a better question for Joel. I mean, obviously he has fun with Twitter just like all of us do. So I think you guys will get a chance to ask him where he's at. You know, all I know is in our private conversation and public conversations that, you know, we know he's been a great leader for this team and someone who's putting in the work. You know, Coach Nurse and myself, and during voluntary workouts, you know, he's putting a lot. You know, he had his wedding, but except for his wedding and his honeymoon, he's been in the gym adding to his game and is excited for the season.
Is it helpful for your star player to kind of be sending public signals that he's not thrilled with what's going on?
I think players need to have their own personality. I think Joel's had that personality since he's been in the league. I have my personality that some people like, some people hate. You know, Coach Nurse, like, all players have to have their own personality, and I think he's always been someone who is vocal in different ways, and, you know, we embrace everything about Joel.
Daryl, do you have when did you find out James wasn't going to be here today?
So we've had conversations with his representation. I don't think they knew their plan. So look, if he's here, coach is going to coach him. If he's not here, we'll handle that.
And is there any indication as to when, have you communicated to them? Is there like a certain grace period where, like, hey, at some point you're expected to be here? Has there been any communication about when this might change? Because, you know, if there isn't a trade, I'm sure you expect him to be here playing at some point. So is there any timeline in terms of that?
No, we communicate. He's on the roster. We're excited for him to help us if he chooses that. And we've told him we expect him to be here, and we're handling it as such.
And then, Nick, what, especially with James not around, what do you think you can unlock from Tyrese Maxey beyond what we've seen from him in terms of the development he's made over the first couple of years of his career?
Yeah, I mean, I alluded to you kind of got to have a vision, two visions going here as things go. But I think the first thing is Tyrese gets the ball in his hands a lot more, right? So that just automatically is going to give him opportunities for pace. That's going to give him opportunities for offensive creation, both for himself and for his teammates. It's going to give him just experience of reading defenses. He'll have to go through a learning curve with that, because he'll see different schemes, different defenses, different matchups, all those things that'll look different to him than they did a year ago. But I think in the the short answer is he's just going to get more chances, right? Because he's going to have the ball more. Yeah.
I'm back here, Dan Gelston, Associated Press. Just to be clear, he has not told you he's not coming to training camp yet, or it's unclear to you, or you expect him? What's the official status for tomorrow?
He's not here today, and we expect him to participate in everything like every other player.
Okay. What to you? I mean, you've obviously had a long relationship with him. What have you? I mean, it's deteriorated, no doubt. I mean, what's it like for you personally and professionally when someone you've dealt with this long has kind of put you on blast, put the organization on blast?
Yeah, I would say it was hard. I mean, I think there are many people who've worked with him for some time, but I've been, right there with anyone else. And look, I think he's a heck of a basketball player. I like him as a person. It was hard, I think, that he felt like that was the right course of action for him at that point. What else can I say? I think he's a tremendous player that will help us if he chooses to be here. And right now that's not where he wants to be.
Hey, Daryl, Nick, Dave Uram from KYW News Radio. This is for both of you. I guess you guys consider yourselves championship contenders right now. And as you mentioned when you start, there's a lot of, I guess, skepticism. Why are you guys still championship contenders right now?
I mean, I'll just say you have the MVP of the league. You don't need to take my word for it. We're third right now, in the East, one of the top teams in the league that has a chance to win. I understand there's skepticism. I understand there's a lot of things to figure out. But like I said before, every year is like hey, you guys look good, but let's prove it in the playoffs. Give us time to, for me to work on the front office, and get the players here that will help us win, and give Coach Nurse time to figure out how to put together a championship rotation and squad. And I think he's shown that he can do that, and I think we've shown that we can have a team that's right there. Obviously I haven't done it, but we've been right there, and we'll continue to be right there, and we feel like we've got a very good chance. But I understand the skepticism at this point. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't really look at it any other way. Right? I get up trying to figure out how to get to the path to get the title, and I know it's a very good team because I've coached against them a lot. I know a lot of the players. I like some of the additions we've made. There's some depth there. Let's see what happens on the court.
David Aldridge with The Athletic.
David,
Daryl,
the doubleheader.
I know.
The Commander.
Love it too much.
Sixer doubleheader.
Love it too much. What a weekend.
Yeah.
I know there is always pressure to win. Pressure's always coming every day that you're in this job. I just wonder if the last week with the moves that Milwaukee and Boston have made put additional external and internal pressure on you to get this result.
I don't think there can ever be more. I mean, you go into every season with championship aspirations, and that's been my whole career, really, from Houston to now the Sixers. So in terms of those guys making moves, again, I would say obviously they added some good players, but they lost good players. So let's see it on the court. I mean, I think, Coach Nurse and his great staff he's assembled probably immediately is like, hey, they added this, that's a strength, but okay, here's a weakness, maybe we can attack that. So let's settle it on the court, I guess is what I would say.
And what are your options as an organization if this goes into the regular season in terms of where you can put James, which list you can put him on, the things that you may be able to do if he's...
I couldn't hear you quite.
I'm sorry. What are your options as an organization if this goes into the regular season and James isn't here, and what lists could you put him on? What status would you be able to put him on if he's not playing when the season starts?
Oh, I don't think there's any concept like that in the NBA. So he's just, he chose to be here, and so he's on our roster. And if he's here, then great, and if he's not, then we'll deal with it like any player that's not here.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Daryl. Just given the constant talks with James's representation and obviously the public attack on your character, what is your interpretation in terms of how the relationship deteriorated?
Well, I don't think I have to interpret it. I mean, I think he said what he meant, and I think that was well reported on. And obviously, attacks. I haven't responded to that because I think it falls flat on its face. I have 20 years of working in the league, always followed through on everything. Every top agent knows that. Everyone in the league knows that you can't operate in this job without that. So, privately, I've appreciated like all the key people in the league reaching out to me and knowing, obviously that's not true, but it's yeah. So, like I said before, obviously it was disappointing that he chose to handle it in that way.
Without showing your hand, in these trade talks, what are you hoping to get in return?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's going to sound a little vague, but I don't like to get too specific because I think it closes windows on opportunity. Again, it's working with Coach Nurse. What are either a player that we think can help us in a significant way, or draft pick type things that we can then go turn into something that will help us in the short run. One of those two things.
Hey Daryl, right here, Mike Vorkanoff with The Athletic. Aside from the personal acrimony when James called you a liar, what was he referring to in that reference? Like, what do you think he is talking about when he says that?
Yeah, again, I think he said what that was, and then that was reported on, so I don't think I need to go into that.
I know you guys spoke to one another, not to his representation, but you and him.
Sure. I mean, as me personally, earlier in the summer, where he requested that we work through his representation.
Matt Murphy, Sixers.com. Coach, there's some signage around the facility that says expect to win. What goes into that mindset, and why was it important for you to display at the facility?
Yeah, it's just it's kind of been with me as something I've done with probably since I entered professional coaching way back 30 some years ago. And it's just, and again, I think a lot of my training and background has put me in I don't know, funky situations where guys are in, guys are out, guys are up, guys are down, guys are moving around a lot, minor league situations, and it kind of trains you to get that mindset of, okay, well, the game's on here. There's got to be a way we can put a game plan together, and there's got to be a way we can play hard enough, and there's got to be a way we can figure out to win. That kind of wraps it up in a nutshell. Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Thanks.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Joe?
How you doing?
As training camp gets set on to go, get ready tomorrow, have you talked to James? Have you kind of got an idea of what he wants to do this week? I know you guys still kind of keep in contact.
No, I think, it's been unfortunate, what has been going on, but the goal is, to be together and to try to win a championship. As far as myself, that's all I'm focused on. I just want to win, whatever it takes, and whatever, puts us in that position as an organization and as myself, that's all I care about.
Hi, Joe. This offseason was fun. LMAO, what did you mean?
I thought it was fun. Just saying the interaction around the league, guys getting traded left and right, teams getting better and better, making it tougher for every other team. I thought it was fun, just looking at the back and forth, between fans. You got, Miami fans that are mad, and you got Milwaukee fans that are happy, and now you got Boston fans that are happy. So, that's what I saw, and I thought it was just fun, just seeing, whatever that was going on the personal level. Getting married was cool. It was fun, spending time with my family was fun. So, to me, it was a A+ summer. We had a lot of fun.
The fact that you tweeted that after the Celtics had gotten Drew Holiday, like not long after that, and after the Bucks had acquired Dame, those moves and the improvements that those teams made had nothing to do with what you were saying in that post.
I just said it did.
I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of those teams surpassing your team.
Who said that surpassed us? We still got to go out there and, compete. You can do whatever you want on, off the court, but you still got to go out there and put the ball in the hoop. I believe that, any team that I'm on, we always going to have a chance. You just need to be a little bit lucky. You just need to stay healthy, be healthy and stay healthy. And, as a team, and just come together. And we've never had, consistency. Every summer it's been, changes here and there. So I feel like at some point, if you want to win, you need to have that consistency. And I think that's the next step for us. And you see all the other teams, Denver just won a championship. They've been together for, so many years. Golden State, they've been doing it for a long time. So you need to be consistent. So to me, that's, like I said, that's the only thing that I'm focused on. And I think for us to win, that's what it's going to take. Me to be dominant and be myself, and, everybody just following along.
Joe, to that point, historically you've always said, my job is to play. I lead the front office stuff to the front office people. But when you see or hear Giannis, pretty publicly say, put pressure on Milwaukee, and then they go and get Dame Lillard, is there a moment of doubt for you in the sense of, maybe I do need to speak up more, maybe I do need to start getting more involved with things beyond what happens on the floor?
I mean, it's tricky. I think he could go both ways. I think I'm pretty smart, but most of the time too, you can have guys wanting one thing and it might not be good for the team. So that's why these guys, they get paid to make those decisions. So that's why I leave it up to them. And if they want my opinion, maybe I give it, but I trust it and just go out and still try to make it happen. And like I said, any team that I'm on, I'm still gonna believe that I have a chance to win, no matter who's on the roster. And we got a lot of great players. I'm happy with what we have. It's all about. I know, like I said, just need to be a little lucky. Every single year of my career, being hurt in the playoffs at some point. I just need that little bit of luck, and we need it as an organization. And I think we're looking up to someone like Tyrese to take that next step. Hopefully, the situation with James get resolved. If he's here, we love him, and we want him to be with us. And I think we have a better team with him on the floor. So, and I think he knows it too. So hopefully that get resolved. And if that doesn't change anything, it doesn't change the goal. It doesn't change anything. The goal is still to go out there and try to win a championship, whatever it takes.
To that point with James, compared to what happened with Ben, where you guys said the right things, but obviously there were issues between teammates. This time around, it does seem like at least you guys publicly have supported James and said, we'll welcome you back. And so, what is that process like? Like, how often are you talking with James and extending that olive branch to him, basically?
I think we said the same thing the last time this happened too. If I remember correctly, there was so many times where we were just like, if he were to come back, we're happy to have him, because to me, the way I look at it, I keep mentioning it, is all about winning. And, whatever that gives us the best, possibility to win a championship, I'm going to take it. So, just like the last time this happened, when he was on the team, he gave us a better opportunity to win a championship, and that's why I was fine with it, just like this situation. I'm okay with that. So hopefully, but I'll leave it up to, those guys to resolve it and, to see how that's going to work out. But, that's what I believe in.
I guess just to expand on Kyle's question, I know being in this type of situation with James, kind of the second time in 3 years, is not ideal, but are there things that you learned from that situation as far as how to navigate it personally, how to navigate it as a team that you feel like can be helpful, just kind of going through a similar situation again?
I think it's a little different. I think the last time this happened, there was a lot of stuff, in the media about, that were kind of, whether it was blaming me and others on the team. And so I think at that time I was a little defensive. But, this time around, it just seemed like, maybe it was a misunderstanding between both sides. But I can only control what I can control, and, that's to go out there and, try to play with what we have, and, trying to, be a leader and bring these guys along and, compete every night and try to win.
On the floor, I know every offseason you're always working on expanding your game, different parts of your game. What were kind of your focuses this offseason, especially now that you're going to be playing for a new coach in Nick Nurse?
I didn't walk out at all this summer.
Hey, Joel. So you made the reference a couple times that it's all about winning. You also talked about how this is not the first time you've been through it. So I think people are obviously wondering if you are ever going to grow tired of these type of circumstances, and what your level of commitment to the Sixers will be long term.
I mentioned it. I said it's all about consistency. If every year is going to be the same thing, then that doesn't, put you, or that doesn't put you closer to, winning a championship. So that gets frustrating. But I also believe that no matter, like I said, it doesn't matter who's on the team. I'm always going to believe that I have a chance to win. So it's all up to me, really, to just go out there and try to do whatever it takes. And, I'm here in Philly. I love Philly. I've been here my whole career. It's all about winning a championship. Mostly, really, honestly, if I got to be honest, if we were to win a championship, it'd be for the city and the fans, because they deserve it, going through the process years and, the disappointments. I don't think anybody wants to go back to that era of basketball where you just knew you had no shot of winning. But when you got a bunch of, good players on the basketball team, anything can happen. Tyrese, I think he's, ready to take another step. Tobias, I expect him to be great like he's always been, contract year. James, contract year, if he is to show up. And we got a bunch of other guys. We added some, new guys. Kelly, I think he's going to help us a lot. And there's, so many other guys. So, just trying to focus on, taking it day by day and trying to figure it out, how to win as a team with a new coaching staff. We don't know how long that's going to take for everybody to gel in the new system, but it's exciting going out there trying to figure it out. Then how to get together and win.
With that said, though, Daryl Morey has a track record of digging his heels in. So there's not only the potential, we have the history that you could be without half the season of the guy who's expected to be your wingman, and then not even have a replacement for him. How do you manage that?
I mean, James is a really good player. We love him on the team. If he's here, great. We love to have him. If he's not, we still got a job to do. When you play in Philly, it doesn't matter who's on the team. If they believe that you have a chance to win a championship, no matter what's going on outside of here, that's the goal. That's the standard. You got to go for it. Every single year of my career, at least for the next, how old am I? 29. For the next, 8 years, I believe that, we should go after it every single year to try to win a championship. There should never be any lost season. So, and I hope they understand that, and I think they understand that. So, like I said, the goal is to win a championship, and every single year we should always do whatever it takes to put us in that situation.
Well, Joel, congrats on your summer personally.
Thank you.
Nick was up here before talking about a plan A to plan B if James shows up and if James doesn't. As the leader of the team, how do you kind of help navigate this team through this uncertainty, at least until you have some idea whether James is going to be around or not, in terms of trying to prepare for the season while not knowing exactly what your group is going to look like?
I think, obviously, it's good to have a bunch of plans, but, if you have a system in place, I think that's the best way to go. And we've dealt with it. Before, when we were in that situation, I had to be more of a playmaker, pushing the ball up the floor, and, more of a, playmaker and all that. And, with James, I had to be, more of a scorer and not a playmaker. So, to me, what I'm looking forward to is just, with or without him, is to just be myself, do both. Because when I get stuck into just being a scorer, I feel like that's not the best version of myself. I like sharing the ball. I like when the ball moves. I don't like when we're static. And I think the best way to win, as you've seen the last couple of years, the teams that I've won or that I've got in there, that move the ball. Nothing is static. So that's how we should play. So I'm sure that plan, those two plans, plan A or plan B, I'm sure they're going to include, that. And that's going to be the main thing, just from, talking to them. And, that's what gets me excited, new coach, trying to learn a new system. Hopefully there's no growing pains, but, there can be some, so just got to be ready for it and, not give up and keep, working hard.
And you've had a bit of a colorful history with Nick over the past few years, different times going back and forth in the media. What has your relationship been like with him over the past couple months? You've got a chance to know him, and as you mentioned, what are some of the things you're excited about he can do to put you in different positions to succeed on the court?
Thank you, man. It's been fun going against him. Just the schemes, offensively and defensively. Obviously, he always threw everything at me. So it was fun playing. I love playing against him because you never knew what to do. Sometimes, three guys were coming at you. Sometimes two guys were coming at you. And sometimes he was on the dribble. So he just has you guessing all the time. And, just from talking to him, because I asked him a bunch of those questions, like what was going through your mind when you were coming up with all those schemes, and he kind of gave me the insight of what he was thinking, and that also, just from those conversations, that made me better because he kind of made me understand now, like, if, we figured, at least early in my career, that if I didn't touch the ball, from the start of the game, that I would get frustrated, and obviously, over the last 3 years, it's gotten better, and I'm not the same anymore. So, just from that, like, I learned. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of other coaches do. So just from those conversations, I've already learned a lot, just trying to see. And that also gets me excited, just, seeing, what he can come up with. And, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Joe, real quick, two quick questions. One, given what happened over the summer, if USA Basketball asks you, will you play in the Paris Olympics?
Okay.
If USA Basketball asks you, will you play in the Paris Olympics?
Yeah. I have 3 options. My goal is to play in the Olympics. I love, all 3 options. Cameroon is, I'm born there. I'm from there, and I always want to represent my country. But the goal is also to play in the Olympics, and if we had a chance, or if we were qualified for the Olympics, that would be an easy decision, but that's still up in the air. And I really do want to play in the Olympics. And then, the U.S., obviously they've been struggling the last couple of years, trying to get back on the top. And you also got France, that's, up and coming. I'm just thankful that I'm able to be in that situation. And it is a tough choice, but probably gonna make it. Probably gonna make that decision in the next few days. So we'll see.
Last one. The NBA tightened the playing guidelines this year, toughened the game amount, game requirements this year, load management. Do you feel that you can play 70-plus games this year, and do you think it's fair that the NBA is making you guys play more?
I'll speak for myself. I don't never load manage. I want to play every game. If I'm not playing, it probably means that something is not right, or that they don't think something is right. So as far as myself, I always want to play, and that's always the goal. You only got such a short amount of time to take advantage of this and really enjoy. So, getting up there. At 29 years old, I got about 10 more years left, so maybe more, we'll see, or maybe less. But you want to enjoy it as much as possible. You want to play as many games as possible, so my goal is to play. And if I'm not on the floor to start a game, that means there's something wrong. I can't hear you. Where's your mic?
Okay. Hello, Joel Embiid. This is Tyrese Maxey, the reporter. I'm joining these guys with their job today. Could you do me one favor? Could you just give a shout out to Maxey on the Mic podcast really fast?
Hey, man, shout out to my man Maxey on the Mic podcast. Make sure y'all listen to it. It's the best podcast out there. I'm still yet to receive an invitation to be part of it, but that's okay. But, make sure that, y'all listen to it and, have fun getting, to listen to that knowledge.
There we go. Thank you, Joel Embiid. You're the best.
Hey, Tyrese.
What they do?
Last year at this time, you talked about how confident you were going into the season because you knew what your role was going to be for the first time in your NBA career. This year, it could really seem like go one of two ways depending on what happens. How do you prepare for either, Nick has talked about you having a larger on-ball role if James is not here. If he's not, then it looks a little bit different. How do you prepare for both of those outcomes?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I've prepared for both all my life. I can say that. And then just this summer, I prepared in a different way because I knew how important I feel like I am to this team, to this organization, or whatever at this point in my career. And I'm just ready for whatever. And they were telling me that he said plan A, plan B. I'm ready for plan C, D, all the way down to Z at that point. But honestly, I've just been doing a lot of things to find ways to get better and find ways to fine-tune my game, find ways to be the best possible version of Tyrese Maxey that I can be. Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
I guess Tyrese, talk the elephant in the room. James not being here. This is something that you guys experienced before. Is there like a little disappointment, frustration, or how does the team feel about all this stuff going on?
Right. I mean, as a brother, I love James. Me and James have came close over the last, maybe 2 years, year and a half, however long it's been. So, of course, we hope that he comes in and plays. That's always cool. And for myself, for our teammates, we got to keep going out there and playing regardless of the situation. Plan A, plan B, like Nick Nurse says, and be ready for whatever life brings us.
What's your thoughts when you see Boston and Milwaukee making those major moves to improve their team, and you guys kind of sat a little back
Right. I think we've made moves to improve our team. We added guys. I think that we have guys here that were already here who are ready to step up and perform. And, you don't really worry about, what everybody else is doing outside of our organization. I mean, this is our organization. We are, as of one, we're one group, and we try to go out there and compete every single night at the highest level. And, at the end of the day, we have the reigning MVP on our team. And, he's really good at basketball. We have other guys like Tobias. We have guys like Melton. We have guys that we brought in like Kelly Oubre, Pat Bev, vets like that. So, we're going to go out there and be competitive and compete. And, we all know what the ultimate goal is.
Hey, what's going on, Tyrese? Just Nick Nurse was talking about how he wanted you to improve a bit on the defensive end. I guess just like how, as a player, do you take strides like on that end of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, you just watch a lot of film, get stronger, gain more confidence. I think my thing at the end of last year, I really got confidence in what I could do and how I can become an impact on the defensive end. I was able to, crawl up under guys and, frustrate them and get steals and cause havoc and do different things like that. I think my next step is like off the ball, trying to find ways to be in gaps. I think Coach Nurse has a really good system type strategy that will help me, not just myself, but everybody on our team with that. So, I'm going to keep working on it. And, hey, one day we'll have a presser where I don't get asked about my defense.
What's up, Tyrese?
What's
I
up?
guess maybe to expand on things you've worked on this offseason, just if you are on the ball more, being a playmaker, and I know that's something you've always talked about already as something you want to keep working on, but how do you sort of work on that in the offseason or simulate that when you're kind of in workouts when you're not in a full type of team setting, you know what I mean? And just
Right.
kind of how did you sort of prepare yourself to then go into camp from that perspective?
Yeah, I did a lot of different things. I think one thing that I would really shout out to my friends, shout out to people back home. One thing that I really did that was new this year is I played a lot of like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and made it situational. So, I'm playing out a pick and roll, and then, I have the tag guy, the tag defender, and I'm reading him out for every read. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's say I'm coming off pick and roll with Joel, and they don't want the pocket pass to come. So then they're taking away the pocket, and I got to hit the skip pass. Or, okay, look, I have somebody else in the game, a shooter in the corner. They don't want to tag. I'm hitting the pocket pass. Or now it's my turn to come off and score. So I think that was something that really helped me, because live read, you can't beat reps. And having the clientele to do that, shout out to my friends. They know who they are. I appreciate them. I worked a little bit with Drew handling something new this summer. That went kind of well. We worked on ball handling. We worked on pace. Because I'm so fast, I feel like me being able to play slow is going to help me a lot this year. And honestly, just finding ways to keep getting better. Honestly, it's just, I keep saying it. It's funny. It probably sounds cliche to y'all now, but me getting 1% better every single year has done well for me. I think done well for our organization, and I'm going to keep trying to do that.
Hey, Tyrese, over to your right. Last year you talked about LND, leave no doubt. How does that compare to your approach for this season?
It's still on my wrist now. LND is something that my dad told me. He used to text it to me before every game at the University of Kentucky while I was there, and it means a lot to me. I mean, there's always doubt in other people's heart, you know what I mean? And you try not to, as a human being, you try not to worry about what other people think of you, but, it's always on the back of your mind. But for me, I go out there and leave no doubt. Honestly, if it's something that they think I can't do, like if it's my defense or if it's my playmaking skills or if it's me being able to shoot the ball, I come in every year, try to leave that doubt out. You know what I mean? And it's just a motto of mine. It's a saying of mine that keeps me going, keeps me pushing, keeps me able to get up every single morning, early morning, 6 a.m.s and different things like that, coming in late at night like last night. And just working and trying to get 1% better every day, so I make sure there is no doubt at the end of the day.
Tyrese, David Aldridge with The Athletic. I just wonder what you think as both an NBA player and a basketball fan when you see all these moves being made in the offseason, big moves, big trades. What goes through your mind?
I think it's good for our league. I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it's gonna, make people want to tune in even more and watch basketball games. It makes the East even more competitive than it already was. We try to beat each other up every playoffs, and that's how it goes. And it's going to be great. I mean, honestly, I feel like everybody is trying to get better. Everybody is trying to, at the end of the day, it's a competition. It's an entertainment league, but it's a competition. Everybody's trying to win, including us. So, we make moves to get better. We go out there and try to improve with the people that we have in our locker room now, in our organization now, and it's been great, I think. And as a basketball fan, I can't wait to sit on my couch on the days that I'm not playing and watch.
And given what Milwaukee's done and what Boston's done, what makes you think your squad can compete and beat those teams if you see them in the postseason?
Like I started out saying, we have the MVP. We got a really good coach. I feel like we have the pieces around, our MVP to be competitive. And, I feel like guys are going to step up, myself included. Tobias Harris. We have a lot of different guys on our team who I think as an organization we really believe in, and we really believe in taking next steps as well. So we're going to go out there. We're going to compete. We're going to, I'm sure Nick Nurse is going to have a great system, and I have the ultimate faith in him as a player in this organization, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Hey, Tyrese. Looks like this year you might end up playing a lot more minutes with Anthony Melton. Just what have you seen from him this summer, and how do you guys go about growing as a duo?
Yeah, Melt is great, honestly. He's so even keel. I feel like he's somebody that is hard to get a read on. You know what I mean? But me, we're really close now. We talk all the time, dang near every day, honestly. And I'm looking forward to seeing, what he's worked on this summer. I got to see him a little bit, got to see his shot, got to see his handle, got to see him finishing at the rim. I always mess with him about making layups. So I think he'll improve at that. And then, honestly, he's taught me so much, on the defensive end, just what he sees, us being kind of the same height. I think he has a little bit longer arms than I do, but, we're the same height. And, he's trying to taught me some of his tricks and his trades that he uses on the defensive end. And I just can't wait to get started.
Hey, Tyrese. It was reported earlier in the offseason that the Sixers are going to wait to extend your contract so they can maintain flexibility going forward. What factors in the organization make you want to put your trust in them in that way?
Yeah, I'm grateful for them taking a chance at me, at drafting me 21. I feel like I've tried to give them my all in this organization. I work hard every single day. And, I'm just going out here and focusing on the season right now. I'm focusing on how we can get better, how I can be better, how at the end of the day, like I said, this is a competition. And, we have one goal in mind. And I love Philly. I know this is a business. I know this is how it goes. And I'm a happy person, you know what I mean? And this is my life. I'm happy with it. And you can hear more about all of these wonderful stories that we're going to have on my podcast. There we go. And all y'all listen because y'all are me. I'm going to talk about you guys.
You crazy. What's up, everybody?
Hey, Tobias. A couple years ago, you were obviously in a similar spot with a notable player not here. What'd you learn from that experience, and what's your perspective on James being absent today?
I mean, yeah, like a few years ago when that did happen, we just learned to control what we can control, right? Like, you know, today's media day, tomorrow, first day of practice. We got a great group here. Everyone, collective guys that are here have been working their tails off all summer long to be ready for this moment. And, you know, for us, we're ready to compete. New staff in place here as well. So we're ready to learn a new system offensively and defensively and figure out ways that we can be at our best as a group. So, you know, that's all we can do. Everything else will handle itself, and you know, we'll figure it out from there. But right now, like, we got each other here, and we're ready to go, and that's all really that matters.
Hey, Tobias. Joel talked about continuity and how important that is. You and him have been together now for a while. Tyrese has been here for a little bit. Do you sense that continuity? Do you feel like that's there despite, you know, having a new coach and despite some of the things that are going on off the court?
Yeah, no, I think, you know, we got, I mean, throughout the summer, guys have been together working out. Last couple weeks, guys have been here working out. So we got great energy in the gym. The new staff, you know, has done a great job of really allowing everybody to come in here and be themselves and implement a lot of different things that are giving a lot of guys confidence in their games and what's expected of them this year. And obviously we'll find out more of that during training camp. But for us as a whole group, I mean, you know, we just want to get out and get ready and play. I mean, we have a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and we're excited to hit the floor and get this thing rolling. So I think, you know, this is definitely like been great energy in the gym with this staff and with all the players that have been here.
Hey, Tobias.
Hey.
You know, you've had, depending on before the James trade, after the James trade, your role has changed a lot on this team the last couple of years. What are you kind of anticipating now with a new coach in Nick Nurse, and how much is that also, I mean, how much uncertainty is there surrounding you depending on if and when James arrives and if he doesn't?
Yeah, I don't really think it's too much uncertainty. I think that, you know, I've had great conversations with Coach on what he expects of me. And I think, like, you know, the whole group understands and knows, like, it's a different style of basketball with him and his philosophies of offense and defense. You know, there's going to be a lot of ball movement, a lot of different actions, a lot of body movement out there, a lot of running, getting up and down. So I think all those things play factors that are helpful in a lot of guys on the team's games, including myself, and I'm excited for that. But like I said before, I've always been a player. Whatever's asked, you know, I'm going to figure out a way to do it at the highest of my ability. And you know, I've had great conversations with Coach on what he expects of me, how he, you know, sees me, envisions me playing with this group, and I'm extremely excited for it. I'm excited for this whole group. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of guys to showcase their abilities, their games, and for us as a collective group to figure out our chemistry and see how good we can be.
Hey, Tobias. Right from the beginning when Nick got here, he's talked about he thinks he can find ways to get you involved more in offense and get you different ways to attack and be more involved maybe than before. You just mentioned it a little bit there, but are you excited about that? And what do you think some of those ways are where you can maybe, you know, expand a little bit from where you were the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what player wouldn't be excited for those type of things, but you know, obviously, you know, we talked about running more pick and rolls with myself and Joel. post-up actions as well, catching the ball off the rebound and going coast to coast, and just being able to get up as many threes as I can on the offensive end. So, all those conversations just went straight to the gym in the summer and continue to implement all those things in my game. That's how I work out on a normal. But just being really focused on the type of action. So watching, plays and sets that he ran in Toronto and how, they came about in the personnel-wise, and then implement it here and been back here for, some time as well and was able to, go through those things as well with live play. So, I'm happy and excited for that, and can't wait to get going. That's it. No questions about my dog, family. No, I'm just messing. Y'all be good.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, Furk. With Nick Nurse as your new coach, what intrigues you about playing for him?
Every time, like Joel said, I was just watching his interview. Like, it was every time fun play against him. He has all different type of tricks. I think this is gonna be all new opportunities for most of us, especially coming from last 2 years. I'm so excited for him, for this organization. He's a new coach, and I think he's gonna change a lot of stuff. But in the same time, it's gonna be more fun. I think more pace on the court, and then I think I'm gonna be also seeing these benefits from him.
Off season, and what were some areas of focus for you in your training?
It was a long summer, I can say that. I was in overseas for 4 months almost, and then I played with the national team. Especially coming from last year, my main goal was get in shape again, get some playing minutes with the national team especially, and then of course the individual things that we've been working on every summer, like shooting, dribbling, defensively, offensively. Most of the time it's the same stuff, just to get better at it. And of course I was trying to get bigger as always. It's never gonna stop, and I think that was a good summer for me.
Hey, Furka, just to, I guess, address the overall elephant in the room, just you guys were in kind of a similar situation a couple years ago with Ben not being here, now with James not being here today. Just, is there anything that you learned from the situation 2 years ago, just how to navigate that as a team that you feel like can be beneficial as you sort of go through a similar situation, at least right now?
I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing to have experience on this type of situations, but like everybody knows, whoever step on the court, we should play for each other, and then we should looking to get wins on the court. Doesn't matter who is playing, who is not playing. Of course, like James Harden, he's a big player. Who doesn't want him in the team? That's not realistic. It doesn't matter how old is he, what type of shape he's in. He's James Harden. Of course, we would like to have him, but personally, whoever's here, whoever's out there on the court, we should give our best for this organization, for these fans, to win the championship. I think it's good to have experience now on this type of situation right now to going forward.
Hey, Ferk. We talked about the new coaching staff, and Nick talked about how wing minutes there's going to be a lot of competition for that in camp. Does it excite you, knowing how kind of last season ended for you? Now with a new coaching staff, you have kind of this new opportunity to compete for minutes?
Definitely, it's a competition. I think it's not just for this year. It was competition every year. There's a lot of guys on the wing spot, but whoever can make the shots, whoever is gonna play the best defense, that's the guy gonna stay on the court. I know that, and then you're gonna be able to play with the Joel, with Tyrese. You're gonna be a good fit for those guys. And I think the mentality is going to be huge for all year because, it's a long season, a lot of games. There's going to be some games that you play well, you play bad, you doesn't even play. It's just going to be the thing that stay ready thing, But I'm super comfortable, I hope everything's going to work out for me and for all of us.
Good morning, good people.
Hey Mo, you've talked about how Joel Embiid was a, quote, driving force in your decision to come here. How does it feel with your history alongside him to be his teammate now?
Pretty good. It shows how life can really come back in full circle and hit you. But he's, it's going to be a little different now that I'm his teammate. You go from mentor to friend to teammate. But I'm looking forward to, just seeing his work ethic and seeing what he puts into the game before on any given night. Because I think on the outside looking in, you only see things like, maybe a little warm-up on the court before the game, and then obviously the game, and then you say hello after the game. But I think seeing how things translate from the weight room, to practice, to the court, to the game is going to be fun to see.
Hey Mel, you played with. You're coming to a team where you don't have a lot of familiarity with your current teammates, but you did play with some of them during the Rico Hines runs in Los Angeles. What was it like to get that experience, and what do you make of the playing styles of the guys that you played with?
It was fun. A lot of those guys have been together in summer league or last year with the team. I was kind of like the new kid on the block, but it was easy to kind of mesh with the guys. Everybody was just so versatile, and obviously it's the summer, but it was good to put in the sets that we'd run and just see how, the early looks of how things will go under Coach Nurse.
Hey Mo, right here. I think you mentioned about the possibility of maybe even sharing the floor with Joel in some lineups just due to your shooting ability and things like that. Have you and Joe ever had that conversation about what maybe that possibility would look like on the floor?
A little bit, but I think that's more of a coach's decision. One thing that was really attractive in free agency, more so than any other team, is Coach Nurse's track history of playing two bigs together. I know in Toronto they had, even last year, they had a bunch of bigs that played both out on the perimeter and around the rim. And he's a mastermind in trying to put out as much, different looks and being creative out there. And it's just going to be excited to finally be a part of.
In terms of Joel mentoring you leading up to becoming his teammate, what are some of the instances that stick out in your mind?
Just the summer sessions, honestly. That's probably when we would spend the most time together. We both obviously share a trainer in Drew Hanlon, and just being around him and seeing what he does day to day and how he goes about his business is paid, huge dividends for me. But again, as I mentioned earlier, seeing it translate from off season to in season is going to add a new perspective to how I look at him.
Is there one particular lesson you've learned from watching him work that you've implemented in your game over the last over the summer?
Yeah, game-like reps. Everything he does is meaningful. No wasted movements. Oftentimes guys in the summer, they work on things that aren't necessarily a strength. They work on a lot of weaknesses. But, for Joe, he's all about polishing up on, his strengths and his things that worked well. And, again, it adds a different perspective. But it's going to be real interesting to see it all, kind of translate all season long.
Hey, Mo. There's been some stories online of you having a beef at one point in your career with Pat Bev. Where's your guys' relationship at right now, and kind of what's the state of that beef?
It's still beef. No, I can't quite say it was ever really beef. There was a few instances, I think it was all in the competitive nature of the sport. But I think Pat was one of the first guys that I hit up, just because I just wanted to get a chance to just work with him. Everybody from the outside looking in, it just looks like Pat is a lot of rah-rah and there's a lot of craziness going on. But I was just saying this in an interview with him, is that I was able to see through the lines and see how he's able to lead a pack from the front. He leads by example. Obviously he's very emotional and he wears his emotions on his sleeves. but he leads from the front, and that's just something that I've always admired and something that I always wanted to play, be a teammate of. And then if you talk to any guy that he's played with, any bigs that he's played with, they all have good things to say. Talked to Nas Reed, I talked to Wenyen, I talked to a whole bunch of guys that's played with him on the same team, and they have nothing but good things to say. Appreciate you guys.
What's the deal? Y'all kind of quiet up in here for me. Like, y'all gotta make a little bit more noise. Give me some energy. Like, you gonna ask me some questions. Give me some type of life. None. No Dr. Peppers. I'm gonna cut back this year.
All right, I'm gonna try to bring some energy here. Man, how do y'all kind of put what's going on with James to the side? Because he's your teammate. I understand that. You don't have no bad feelings toward him, but he's not here, and he has to be here to help you. So how do you kind of balance those things?
That we can really only control and focus on what we can control, you know. Yeah, he feel that way. Things is going on. Yeah, the season's about to start. The team still got to move on. So we just going to, like, just work together, put in extra effort, put in work to collectively come together to make sure that we can still fill the void until the situation or circumstances work itself out.
What do you think about Nick and the way he's going to kind of utilize everybody this year?
I love it. I love his energy. I love everything about him. Like, he wants you to play with courage. He wants you to get outside. Yes, everyone's a basketball player, but you ain't got to be scripted. Like, play basketball, and he's willing to live with mistakes and growth as long as you showing growth and hustle. So those are things that I like, especially with the game of basketball, because you got to take some risks at times and at moments in order to get the job done. And he's shown that he's willing to do that.
Daniel, you talked about just as a team how the with James everything's going to affect you, but you obviously have a very close personal relationship with James. So just from that standpoint, like, what's kind of the disappointment of him not being here and the hope that he does come and help the team?
I don't think it's any disappointment. It's just we just want the situation just to work itself out so we can just focus and prepare and gear up for the season. It's a long season ahead, it's, a new in-season tournament, so we're going to need everyone to be here and to really fully participate to make sure that this team is where we want to be at the end of the year.
Daniel, kind of expanding on your comments about Nick Nurse and sort of the style that he plays, what do you think that means for you, especially after last season? Your role kind of fluctuated a little bit. Just what are you anticipating as far as how you can fit into this version of the team with Nurse as coach?
Just run and play, have fun, be energetic, guard. 3-and-D guys. He has a knack for him, so that's typically my role. So I expect to run out a lot more, do a lot more in transition and everything else because he's a up tempo. He's got an up tempo style.
Hey, what's up, Daniel? Well,
what's the deal? You
kind of touched on it a little bit, man, but I'm actually curious what you think of this in-season tournament. Gonna be the first time around with it. Just what are your thoughts on it as you prepare for this thing?
Since it's the first one, you kind of gotta go through it to experience it. Don't know how you really prepare for it, so it's just one of those ones where it's the first one. I hope that it goes well and that it expands and get better as years to come. So that's the only thing I really can give you right now, since this will be the first go round. That I'll have an answer for you next year, though.
Jaden, now going into your third season, just how much of an opportunity do you feel like you have this year? Does this feel like a big season coming up for you? Just sort of how are you overall approaching this season?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it could be a big season coming up. We've been working every day, been with the staff all day, every day, so I'm pretty confident where things are going and just getting ready for training camp. Just got to go out there, just play hard and show what I can show.
Hey, Jaden, what are you looking forward to about playing for Nick Nurse, having been around him at Summer League? And also, what are you looking forward to building off of with your own game heading into this season?
I'm looking forward to showcase all the work we've been putting in. Nick Nurse and the staff, they've been with us every single day, so being able to get after with those guys and learn and just keep getting better day in and day out, that's something I'm excited to show.
Hey, Jaden. Back here. Just going off that, what was the experience like of having Nick Nurse coaching guys in the Summer League too?
That was a great experience. You know, I don't know if that's too common for a head coach to be that active. From day one, just starting in practice, he was involved. He coached us up, correcting us, and it stayed like that throughout the whole Summer League, man. That was big. He really gained a lot of respect from me from the jump just for doing that. So. Yeah.
Oh. Hey, what's up, D'Anthony?
What's good?
I guess it's kind of starting it off. Just, I guess, how do you handle the current James situation, just as his teammate, friend, and just how do you guys kind of move forward with the whole situation?
I think, the biggest thing for us is just we're worried about whoever's, putting on a Sixers uniform for us. So, whoever's coming to camp, whoever's showing up to practice, I think all that type of stuff is what we control, and that's, all I really care about, honestly. We're ready to jump ball with anybody that's here, so we got to get prepared for that and understand that whoever's here is, who we got.
I guess it's like moving forward. I guess how can your relationship with Tyrese Maxey on the court grow, like as you guys move forward with your second season together?
I'm super excited for my opportunity. Whoever's here and who's not, me and Tyrese have prepared, and we're ready to share the court more this year. And we've been talking about it a lot, and just understanding what we need to do just to help each other out and just help this team. So I think we're both really excited, and everything that we bring to the game can definitely complement each other.
Anthony, what have you seen from the guy who was just up here, Jaden Springer, with his development?
It's been real good. Jaden's development is definitely improved. We all know him as a pesky ball defender, but I think he's gotten even stronger on defense, and his shooting is coming along too, specifically his three-point shooting, and just having the confidence just to pull the trigger. So I think all that type of stuff, is coming along, and it's going to help provide for this team.
Nick Nurse is obviously known as a very aggressive and creative defensive coach.
Yeah.
You're smiling because of your defensive abilities. Just how do you feel like you can contribute to a system like that, or just how do you feel like that's going to play to your strengths this season?
Man, I'm so excited just to see what he comes up with, and his defensive schemes, and just see where his mind is at. So me and Nick Nurse have had several conversations about what I can bring to the table and stuff like that. But I'm excited. I can't wait to get out there. I think he understands my defensive capabilities, and I think he definitely wants to maximize those too.
What's up, D'Anthony? This is a contract year for you, so what are you hoping to accomplish? Everybody says I want to win and put the team first, all that, but I guess individually, if there's some point of growth or anything else that you're trying to accomplish this year.
I think the biggest thing for me, just from what I've been saying from the time I got into the league, was just, getting better in every aspect of my game. I feel like I've done that from my first year to now. So I just got to understand what my weaknesses are and to continue to attack those, and but also play to my strengths. So
I've just been working on everything, from, being a PG to being off ball to, having to set screens, back screens, and just, to working on my body. So I always just want to continue to work on my game 100% and just, whatever comes with that, comes with that.
And, looking back at the end of last year, what do you think, having had time to reflect on it, went wrong in those games 6 and 7 against Boston that it looked like you guys were on the verge of breaking through and obviously went the other way?
Yeah. I mean, I think those two, games was definitely significant for us, but I just think execution, it came down to that, and, which team was going to execute more down the stretch. And then I think it happened to be Boston. And those type of games, sometimes it matters about stops and who can get more stops at the end of the game. So, I mean, obviously we wish we won, and, we wish we went all the way. But, I think it showed that, Boston, they was a more executed team down the stretch, and, they got more stops too.
Hey, D'Anthony. Tyrese said he teases you sometimes about finishing. Is that an area that you have focused on and just trying to do better with capitalizing on your chances in transition?
Definitely. I think this year I've been mainly working on my body. Just, last year I dealt with a back injury pretty much throughout most of the year. So just getting through that, and I feel like I'm way better now just in terms of everything, just feeling healthier. So, I've been feeling more athletic, getting back in the gym in terms of working on my athletic ability and jumping and stuff like that. So I'm just happy to be healthy 100% and ready to get to whatever it is. And I think that type of stuff is going to play in the season longer for me and just help me with my finishing, like you said. Yeah.
Hey, Philip, you got some big experience on the international stage this summer. What areas of your game do you feel that was helpful with looking forward now to the NBA?
You mean this last year?
The FIBA World Cup, yeah.
It was good because it was a good competition, especially at the end phase. A lot of NBA guys, so just getting to go against them, because this year I'll go against NBA players. So and also being on a team with some experienced NBA guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nikola Jovic was in the NBA too. So just being together with them and sharing some experiences with them was helpful as well.
Hey, Philip, over to your right. What are you hoping to show the coaching staff, fans in training camp and in preseason games?
Just that I can be on the court, try to contribute, help the team any way I can. But for me, the biggest thing is just learn about a different game over here and just get better.
Dobar dan, Filipe. Darko Đeletović, Koš magazin.
Dobar.
Samo da te upitam o ugovoru. Znam da nije garantovan, pa možeš li samo da mi kažeš kakvi su detalji ugovora? Da li moraš da se izboriš u trening kampu za ugovor ili ostaješ do nekog datuma?
Pa nisam siguran, mislim da, ne znam da li smijem da pričam o ovome, ali mislim kao i svako drugi, ti si ovde dok glavni ne odluče drugačije, tako da moje da se borim u svakom trenutku, ne samo da budem ovde, već i za mesto, tako da to je to, ja ne razmišljam o tome, pravo ti kažem.
Da te upitam samo još za iskustvo u Manili, koliko ti je to doprinijelo razvitku i koliko si ponosan u stvari na to što je reprezentacija ostvarila?
Pa kako ne, jako velika stvar za celu zemlju, pogotovo jer Srbija nije uzela medalju onako 5-6 koliko već godina, tako da jako velika stvar i za mene i za sve igrače i za Srbiju pre svega,
Kao što ste vidjeli, to je bila stvarno neverovatna grupa ljudi koja je zajedno funkcionisala, stvarno neverovatno i to je bio najveći ključ našeg uspeha. Na kraju smo možda mogli i više, ali s obzirom da nam niko nije davao šanse, napravili smo neki maksimum, tako da svi smo stvarno presrećni zbog toga. Y'all need a translation? You got it? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Hey, Kelly. Just curious for you, why Philadelphia? What did you see as far as like an opportunity, and what made you want to come to the Sixers?
Well, you know, it was obviously late in the free agency period, and I was really taking this offseason to kind of dial my life in and, you know, re-energize and refocus. And Mr. Morey and Coach Nick, they were constantly trying to get in contact with me. And, you know, I really, at the end of the day, when I sat down and all my options pretty much were like what they were, I knew for a fact that I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted. Just like Kansas, you know, Coach Self was the first person to recruit me from a freshman. And, you know, it really brought me back to my roots of basketball. You know, you go where you wanted and you go where you're loved, and I felt like this was the right place.
Hey, Kelly, what's going on? I guess what were those conversations with Coach Nurse like? Did he kind of give you an idea of what they envisioned for you or anything this season?
Very vague. You know, it's more so getting to know each other and just communicating from person to person. The only thing, you know, Coach Nick said, which I would want any coach to say, is that there's no promises, but, you know, there is opportunity for the taking, and that's all I need to hear. And, you know, it was something that I really used to motivate me, and, you know, I respect that.
What's up, Poppy?
What up? What up, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Hey, just from afar coming into this, what did you think of this organization from the outside? And, you know, now that you're starting to get inside, what do you think the potential is here?
I don't want to bash any other organizations out there, but, like, you know, I've been on a couple teams in my career, and this is the most well-oiled machine that I've been to. This is my first time actually sitting at a press conference table, you know, with this many people. And, you know, it's a culture shock for real. But at the end of the day, I'm ready to adapt. And honestly, man, this team wins every year, right? The fan base wants them to win more, but I've come from teams where they have no hope, like zero hope within the whole city. And this is not that at all. So I appreciate this fan base, man, for being so hard on the team and wanting to see greatness, because they deserve it. And this organization gives the players the platform to do so with everything around us. So, you know, it's night and day from what I've been to, man, and I'm going to just take advantage of it, soak it all in, and take it day by day.
Another familiar face.
Yes.
What's up?
How you doing?
Just since you did join this team sort of late in the process, just what have the last few days, couple weeks been like as far as getting acclimated, getting to know your new teammates, and how crucial is the, you know, training camp going to be for you?
Very crucial for me. You know, obviously you have to expedite the process so that we can grow our foundation and get that camaraderie right. And, you know, it's just I'm taking it day by day. Obviously I have to implement myself into, you know, these guys' flow, right? We see each other every single day. They've seen each other every day, and they know each other very well. So, you know, I'm not trying to force any friendships or relationships, but at the end of the day, like, I have to get comfortable pretty quick, and I think that training camp, being away from the facility and away from our comfort zone, to help with that a lot.
Hey, Kelly, speaking of, you know, getting implemented here, you've had all kinds of roles up to this point in your career, you know, going from just a guy to then you're a 20-point scorer and kind of swinging back and forth at that. I mean, how difficult is that year to year to make those kind of wild adjustments, and has that prepared you for, you know, this opportunity?
It's very difficult, you know, and I just chalk it up to just being water. Whatever the team needs from me, that's what I do. Whatever, you know, the organization needs from me, that's what I'll do. And like I said when I first got drafted, man, I'm here to help a team win. I'm not here to, you know, focus on myself and what I can bring to the table. I'm more so here to do whatever I'm asked and I'm told. And if it's going out there and scoring 20 points a night, then I could do that. But at the end of the day, they also ask a lot other stuff of me, like guarding the best players, taking, giving my minutes to other people because obviously they make more than me, right? But they're still asking me to do everything and all the above. And I'm in the business of proving people wrong, right? And I love to kill the naysayers, kill, the people who may say that I'm not good at something. I'm going to come and show you that I am. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, that's just something that's definitely led me up to this point because I really don't know, what I'm going to be asked of. But at the end of the day, I do know who I am and what I've been through, and I can do anything that I'm asked. Love is love. Thank you, guys.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Azulis, over here.
Yeah.
You talked during the summer about how head coach Nick Nurse can be serious at times, but then sometimes you're not sure when he's joking or laughing or smiling at you. What have you valued so far about the approach from Coach Nurse and his assistant coaches with the way they operate?
Yeah, they operate at the highest level. So it's like you just need to listen and do what they tell you. I don't know. I just get more and more comfortable every day with them, and I love our coaching staff. They're the best. Yeah.
What areas of your game did you work on this summer most?
I worked on my defense, my pick and roll defense, one-on-one defense, and three-point shot shooting. So I think I'm making good progress in that too.
And what excites you about the Philadelphia 76ers as an organization?
It's hard. It's still hard to believe I'm here. Back home, I never thought I'm gonna be here. I didn't even know this team back home when I was a kid. So, yeah, it's the highest level. It's like a movie, like a dream. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm very excited.
Going off of that, who were your favorite players growing up? Who did you like watching and why?
I knew that Sabonis' dad was in NBA for Portland Trail Blazers. He came here late, I think, because of the injuries. His son now is playing great basketball at Kings too, so I love watching him. We're kind of similar style basketball players, so I can watch and learn something from him every game he plays. I know my all-time is probably Michael Jordan, so that's all I knew back then. Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Hey, it's Craven. This summer, you made a lot of new Sixers fans with your play during the summer league. Just did you feel that love from Philadelphia, and what is that kind of like already as an undrafted guy to join this team and kind of already get that appreciation from the fan base?
It feels good. Summer league was great. The environment here was great. As far as like coaches, staff, everybody, the energy was there. So I kind of felt like that helped me going into the summer to perform the way I did. But to answer your question, I feel the love from the fans, kind of feel like how I felt in college from my school.
I guess to go off of that question, just then coming off of Summer League, what were then the biggest things that you worked on in that period between, like mid-July through now that you feel like will help you now?
Just, getting stronger and learning from guys around me as far as my vets on the team and guys who've been in the league for a lot of years, and just listening and being coachable.
The guy is also out in LA doing Rico Hines runs. What did that experience teach you, just going up against NBA players right off the bat and kind of being in that environment?
It gave me a lot of confidence in myself. Just to be able to compete at that level with a lot of NBA guys, that gave me a lot of confidence, and it helped me, want to be at the highest level and work harder.
Jaquavion, you were one of the team's best players in Summer League, if not the best player. What was some of the feedback you got from your coaches there as to things to work on going forward, and what have you been spending your off-season workout time on since then to now?
Probably mainly like defensively, on the defensive end, on the ball and off the ball, just being in the right positions, stuff like that, and, having a better shot selection than, problem.
Hey, Ricky, over here. You told us that you watched a lot of Joel Embiid before you entered the league. How does it feel to be teammates with the reigning league MVP?
It's amazing just to be beside him and be on the same team with him. I'm looking forward to it. Just learning from all the guys, all the vets on the teams. Yeah, it's amazing. I was watching him a lot during the playoffs, him and James. In the pick and roll, and just how unstoppable he was. It was amazing to watch, and I'm glad I'm to be part of the team right now.
And in the summer runs, what stands out to you about the mentality of this group?
We had some dogs on our teams. It was a lot of days we won the whole day, the Philly team. So we're a good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to do this season. That's it.
Before Summer League, you mentioned making some changes to your jump shot. How's that process coming along? Where do you feel like your shot is at right now?
It's definitely better than before Summer League. Been working on it every day with Coach T. Murray and Coach Nick Nurse looking over it, and Rico. So just steady improvements. I've been shooting good the last couple of days of practice last week, so just looking forward to the season. Yeah.
You guys doing all right? How you doing? Take your time, get your food, no rushing. Yeah, get your snacks. There you go, take your time. It's still morning, right? Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Danny, welcome back.
Thank you.
Just what made this the right opportunity for you? Obviously, familiarity with this organization, but also familiarity with Nick. How much
Yes.
of all of that did play into your decision to come
Just
back?
what you said. Those pieces were the main factors. Being familiar with the city, being familiar with the organization, and the pieces that were here already that I played with, Joel, Tobias, Tyrese. And then, of course, Nick was just, the icing on the cake. But he was one of the main factors why I came back. But it's a blessing. This is year 15 for me. I don't take it for granted. There's a lot of guys that were in my position or have been in my position who are no longer in this league. So the association is a wonderful place, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to play in it again.
You obviously spent a lot of last season working your way back from the injury that you had here
Yeah.
at the end of the playoffs. Just where do you feel like you're at now health-wise, and just what was that now looking kind of back on the long process to get back? Just how did that go?
I had some amazing PTs. They were great. They got me back in a quick span, but feeling even better now. As this summer, I've been able to focus on the other parts of the rehab, but keeping the knee right, keeping the quads and the muscles right. This is the best that my body's felt in a long time, especially having kind of a year off to just focus on those things. So I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to not just prove to everyone around me, but to myself that I can still be who I was before I left here.
You are a three-time champ. You know what it takes. You know what it takes for a team to go all the way.
Yeah, I've been fortunate as well. I've been very lucky. I've been in some good spots.
Why is this team, as constructed now, which includes James not being here, why is this team a championship contender?
Well, I think we have a lot of depth. There's been some movement in the East as the last couple of days. They're obviously very good teams. But I think some of those teams lack the depth that we may have. But we have all the pieces. And with Nick on top of that, coaching guys, he's not scared to coach guys and having us playing the right way and have us playing confident. I said I played some of my best basketball with Nick in Toronto. So I highly expect you'll see a lot of guys here having some of their career years and playing really good basketball. With those two factors, and of course the MVP, Joel Embiid, you always have a chance at winning.
Danny, for you, was there a sense of unfinished business? And the reason why I'm saying
100%.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The first year you got injured, second year you got injured in the playoffs.
Us hopefully we don't keep that streak going. But we had a great opportunity my first year. We lost to Atlanta in the second round. I feel like if I was healthy, we would have had a better shot at getting over that hump. And we were playing pretty good basketball. And my second year, even though Joel was out the first two games, I think he had a broken face at the time, we were playing really good basketball at home. And we were even the series up at 2-2, and I felt like I was in really good rhythm. If I didn't get injured, things may have gone differently. We don't know. But there's definitely a sense of unfinished business here. I've been able to win and lucky enough to win in other cities. I would love to be able to bring that aspect to this city, the city of Philadelphia, and finally get over home, stay healthy, first and foremost, and playing great basketball at the end of the year, April, May, and June, and getting us where we need to be.
In terms of, bridging your experiences here and then with Nick, what are some of the things that, you've talked to Joel about in terms of Nick's personality and what works best in Nick's system? Can you kind of explain your experience?
I think if anybody knows Nick well that has not played for him is Joel. Just the fact that many times he's had to play against him and so many things that Nick has thrown at Joel. Just outside the box, different things, different looks, don't know what to expect. So I think Joel knows that. He's asked me a little bit about it, but I think he knows it pretty well. And I just told him, he's going to coach you. He's going to coach you the right way. He's going to have us playing the right way. You're going to have to trust in him. He's going to trust in us. But, expect the unexpected. And he's going to, throw some different things out there, which it'll be fun in times, and sometimes it may be confusing. But as long as we are on the same page and we trust in it, we'll always have a shot.
From your experience, what do you think the impact on a player like Tyrese Maxey is going to be under Nick?
Huge. Nick's a highly positive guy. Not saying that Doc wasn't, but it's a different change. It's two different types of coaching. But I think it'll allow Tyrese to be who he is. He'll be the happy, fun-loving guy that everybody sees him to be, and smiling on the court and playing his best basketball. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play with that. We don't know who will be playing, who won't be. But I fully expect Tyrese to hopefully have a healthy year, stay healthy, and have a great year at an all-star caliber level. And he's that type of player. And him as well as Joel will be leading us this year.
Over here, D.
Yep.
How are you, man?
Good, man. It's good to see you.
Good. You too, man.
Yeah.
How do veteran players compartmentalize? What I mean by that is, James is your teammate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's friends with many people on this team.
Yeah.
But he's not here.
Yeah.
So how do you compartmentalize those two things?
Years of practice. Luckily for me, I've had a lot of practice with multiple teams in this scenario. And being in Philly my first year, my first 2 years, we had a situation similar. In San Antonio, I had a situation similar. But it takes years of practice, not just with your teammates, but your home relationships, separating your work life and your home life. You got to be able to separate the two. So when it comes to the brotherhood, the family side of it, and then the team side of it, you figure out the balance and figure out the way. James is still a brother of mine, a teammate of mine. Consider him family, and I want what's best for him, but also want what's best for the team. So you got to find a way to balance it, to separate the two, and trying to kind of be Switzerland. So it's tough, but I said I had some years of practice, and I've gotten decently good at it. Not perfect, but I'm still working on it. We'll see how it goes this time around for the third time for me. Second time around for some of the guys here, but it'll be interesting. But I said I hope things go well for all sides. I hope things work out for all sides, and I want to see him happy as well as our team, to be thriving and happy and having the people that need to be here and want to be here, and him land where he wants to be.
I also wonder if you can remember, speaking of Nick, what the huddle was like.
There you go.
What the huddle or the practice was like when Nick said, "No, we're going to go boxing one on Curry in the NBA Finals."
You should have seen the huddle when he said we're going to go triangling too. I think we were more confused at that and more like, what the hell is going on? Are we really doing this? But when we tried the triangle one, we're like, okay, not too bad. The boxing one, we were like, okay, not too bad. But the triangle two kind of threw us for a real loop. And when it worked, we were like, okay, it's actually working. By the time they figured it out, it was kind of late. So it took a lot of trust in that. And after it being successful, Nick's earned my respect and a lot of trust from me. So anything he throws at us now, I'm definitely going to be on board and get the guys on board with it. Thanks, DJ. Thank you, guys. It's good to see you guys.
How you guys doing today? Very well, thank you.
Hey, Pat. You seem to take a lot of pride in improving the locker room situation wherever you go. I guess what is the challenge of trying to do that and take on that sort of leadership role when you're with a new team?
I don't think it's something I go in, trying to do. I think guys see me how I prepare for a game, how I prepare for practice, and kind of, bite some stuff from me off there. I don't go in trying to fix the locker room. I go in there being a pro, crosses my T's, dotting my I's, make sure I get all my work in as far as body work and basketball court work. And if guys see that, maybe that rubs off on a couple guys, maybe that rubs up on everybody. So that's always been my mindset.
Yeah, Pat, in the back here. So you're obviously buddies with James Harden, but how do you balance being pals with a guy like that and also wanting what's best for the Sixers, the team that you're on?
Great question. It's above my pay grade, obviously. One of my reasons of coming here was, Tobias, James, Embiid, and, Nick Nurse. So, to be very competitive in this East now that these teams are making all these moves, it'd be great to have them. Obviously, you can't replace a person like that, a player like that. But if it doesn't work out, we definitely have enough to go to war with for sure.
Hey, Pat, just given the uncertainty surrounding James' situation, that could then lead to a lot of you guys having to kind of carry the ball handling duties, initiating the offense. Just how do you anticipate going about that during camp, and what are going to be the keys if it's kind of a by committee approach?
I don't know. Basketball is the same sport. It hasn't changed. I don't think it has. I think the rim is still 10 feet tall. I think you have to put the ball in the hole and stop the other team from putting the ball in the hole. So we're not here to reinvent the wheel. Obviously, what's business stays business. Players play, and everything above that, that's the only thing we do. You really can't. You only can control what you can control. And right now, me controlling this little media press conference is my only focus right now.
What have your initial impressions been of Tyrese Maxey? Obviously, you've gone up against him for a few years, but now being his teammate, just what's impressed you most about him so far?
He's really good with the ball and pick and roll. Really good with the ball and ISO. Regardless of what's been going on with Philadelphia, the uncertainty of certain players and in the past and now, he's always had a smile on his face. Life gets hard. It doesn't really beat him up. Great character person, and a person like that is, always smiling, always enjoying life. You appreciate people like that, not just on the basketball court, off also.
Pat, right here.
Cass.
Yeah, you're such a big presence, in the league, and any team that you're on, you make an impact.
I appreciate you noticing that.
And given that you've been, last 5 years, been on a different team each year, what's been the biggest challenge for you to be a professional and go from team to team and have to
No
adjust?
challenge for me. I played in 2nd Division Ukraine. I had to take the bus 21 hours. I'm still living the dream. It's 16 years in. It's a testament to my hard work. It's a testament to, the time I put in, the sacrifices from my family, sacrifices from, the vices that, us as humans like to do when, when we don't have to work. So I'm still putting in work. I'm still playing at a high level. I was fortunate to, take a team with the Bulls who, was having a horrible year, kind of turn that team around a little bit. Obviously, made it okay for people wanting to play in Minnesota now. So I've done a lot for this league. I've done a lot for, different teams and different organizations. And, my bag is always packed, So that's my mindset. And no matter where I go, you have to be a pro. You got to come in early. You got to stay late. That's always been my mindset. And that's probably the reason why I've been sticking around so long. I've been fortunate.
Hey, Pat. DeAnthony, right here.
How are you?
Hey, doing all right, Pat. DeAnthony Melton and Jaden Springer, a couple young guards here who hang their hat on defense. What have you made of those guys, and where do you think they can grow?
Like I said, it's the same game. I'm not here trying to, reinvent anything. I've been fortunate to be here, the last month and a half with the guys. My biggest thing is about IQ of the game of basketball, knowing you're defending, knowing who's setting the pick and roll. Once you kind of, understand that, you can kind of, dibble in between, how you want to be effective on the game on the defensive side. So I think it's more the knowledge than anything.
Hey, Pat. You mentioned Nick Nurse being a big factor in why you wanted to come here. What was it? What were your interactions with him before you got here, and what was it about him and his style that made you want to play here?
So a lot of people don't know when I left Arkansas early, I walked into an office. I met a young coach for the Iowa Energy. Me and my mom were interviewing coaches to see what my next step was after college, and it was Nick Nurse. I think I go overseas. I played, 4 years. I come back. I sign with the Rockets. I go to the G League. My coach is Nick Nurse. So we've been trying to, I've been trying to play for him. He's been trying to get me for a while now, and 12 years in this business. I've been fortunate. He's won a championship, and our lines cross again. So I'm very fortunate.
Thanks, Pat.
Dave, good to see you, baby. You good?
up, PJ?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
We'll get the elephant out of the room, or elephant in the room out of the way. Just, with the situation with James, just where do you sort of land on it? I know he's a close friend of yours, but just how do you sort of navigate the situation personally and as a team?
Yeah, that's my brother. No question. Everybody was questioning me. A social media post I made, that's me having my brother's back no matter what. Our relationship goes way beyond basketball and the years we spent together. So that aside, he has this ongoing thing, and it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is. Whatever management he decide and whatever happens, happens. But the rest of us have to come here, go to work, and get ready to play.
I guess with that said, supporting your teammate and your friend, does the situation that happened this summer, does that change your feelings about being here, being on this team at all, moving forward?
No, obviously I came here to play with James and Joe, obviously, rest of the guys. So it doesn't change anything. This is a business. You have to be a professional. Whatever happens, happens. But you control what you can control. Come to work, lace your sneakers, and play basketball, and that's it. Anything else that happens after that, it happens.
Hey, PJ, do you think this is something that could get resolved quickly?
That ain't for me to answer. I have no idea. But I hope they figure it out soon. If not, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Do you think we'll see James here?
I don't know. It's a good question, Keith. I have no idea. I know he feels strongly about how he feels. And he's going to handle it accordingly how he feels.
PJ, so you've been in this East for a minute now, just grinding. And I just wonder what you think about all the moves that got made in the last few days with Dame and with Drew and all that. And how do you think it impacts the conference?
I mean, it's interesting. Adding Dame to the East for sure. Celtics moving some things around, getting Drew's big. But they lost a lot too. So, it's different ways to look at it. At the end of the day, it's going to be so much talk right now, beginning of the season. You know how it goes. It's always the movement and the hype of certain teams and surprise teams. And it's going to be a roller coaster ride for the first few months. So just kind of get on board and work hard, try to build with your team and figure it out. But I think everybody in the East, in that top 8 to 10, think they got a shot at coming out of the East. So that's how it always is.
And do you think you guys lean into the experience, depth, strength, and numbers that you have with some of the vets that have come here?
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. No matter what the situation, if you look at our roster and our team, they get as far as we wanted last year. Obviously, hard fought, but I feel like having a quarterback, Tyrese growing another year, Joe coming off MVP, and everybody else playing their roles, I think we'd be right there with anybody.
PJ, year 13. I'm not going to call you old because I'm not you, but how does the body feel? And what are your expectations of yourself this season?
The same as always. I don't change much. Just try to build each year. Try to take another step. This is my first year coming to season healthy in a few years, so I'm excited about that. But when you get older, you appreciate it each time coming back, like going through this whole motion again. Being the second oldest person in the NBA sounds crazy to me, but I feel like all the guys that are all the oldest are really young and can play a long time, and it's scary. Like the guys be able to see that over the years. Seeing guys go 22, 23, 24 years of playing basketball, it's pretty cool. So I'm still young at heart.
Year here in Philly, but now under a new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So what have the conversations been like with Nick in terms of, what your role is going to be like this year?
Much changed with me, Cass. I'm going to do what I do. And just figure everybody out, figure this team out, and figure out how I can help everybody be their best. And that's really what I do, essentially. We got some new personalities, new guys here. a few new vets, guys that have been around. So it's kind of putting that all together and figuring out, just like every other year. It's always different, always little tweaks, but you always just try to build. So it's all about building.
Hey, PJ. Right here. You crossed paths with Nick briefly in Toronto. He's a guy who's known as a unique coach. Do you agree with that, and what do you think is distinct about his style?
I couldn't hear the middle of your question.
What do you think is distinct about Nick's style? What do you think is unique about what he brings to the table?
I feel like he's very good at having different kind of energies around different teams. I think it's Toronto teams, if you look at him, I think he runs offense that benefits his players. He does things that benefits his team. It's not like having a system and just plugging people. I feel like he does what he can to make his team, his players look good and be successful. He's a player's coach. My short time with him and knowing him, just his personality and how much he cares about the guys and, really, really like pushing guys to be great. I think he's going to be great energy for this team for sure.
PJ, as you reflect back to Game 6 and 7 of the Boston series, I guess in your estimation, what do you think went wrong in terms of how those two games played out?
Don't do that. You can't. There's no way. You can't because it'll drive you crazy. Over years, you have so many games like that, Game 7s, Game 6. I can't watch them. I don't talk about them much because, especially now, new team, new people. Last year's gone. New year, new team. Good. Thanks.
Yo. How everybody doing today?
How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, estoy bien.
Paul, can you kind of describe what those few days were like when you had signed the offer sheet with Utah and then you're either going to Utah or you're staying in Philadelphia? I can imagine that's kind of a crazy few days for you. Can you, I guess, describe what that was like and what your reaction was when you found out that they were going to match?
It was crazy. I was actually going to Utah to check out the facility and stuff, and we was going back to Vegas because Summer League was going on, and I was just gonna go out there and be around the energy. And that's when I found out that the Sixers matched the offer, and I was just super excited and just super grateful that I was able to come back to the team that drafted me, and kind of made my heart warm a little bit.
Hey, Paul, how has it been to work with Nick Nurse, the shooting coach?
I mean, it's been great. Since day one, he's been hands-on. First time I stepped in the gym, first time he seen me in the gym, he stepped on the court and was like, hey, you just start working with me since day one about ball placement, hand placement, some drills I can do, like that I can add to my routine to help. And, I've been trying my best to buy in fully. And I think it's been helping a lot.
Hey, Paul. Nick has talked about the idea of playing two bigs, and whether it's yourself and Joel, whether it's yourself and Mo. How do you view that, and just are you kind of anxious or excited to get a look at that and see what it's like to play with those two guys?
I'm extremely excited to play alongside of Joel or Mo. I'm excited to be on the court in general. But I honestly think that playing with two bigs is a great idea. Like if I play next to Joel, I'll take a lot of stress off him, make it a lot easier. He don't got to get every rebound. I can go out there and get some rebounds. Just try to make the game easier for him, help him get easier looks. Ultimately help the team get easier looks on the defensive end. take the load off him a little bit on that end as well. Blocking shots, getting rebounds, guarding, boxing out. Just it's a lot of little things that, as a big, I had to hold it down at the 5 position. It's a lot of work. And having 2 of us out there, I feel like we could dominate, to be honest.
Paul, obviously you got this new contract in the offseason. Any fun purchases? Anything you spend all that money on?
Low key, I had a couple purchases. I bought a house. And I got a new car.
Nice. You talked about Nick Nurse working with you on your shooting, but also he's obviously known as a really good defensive coach, really creative. You're a guy that's long, active, all that stuff. How do you feel like your skill set and your abilities are going to translate to a Nick Nurse style defense?
I think that it's already translated. I feel like the type of my type of player, or the type of player I am, is the type of player that he's used to coaching. Long, athletic, versatile, can guard multiple positions. So I think the translation wouldn't be hard at all, or the translate wouldn't be hard at all to his coaching style. I think for me, I just have to lock in on the details, being disciplined and being consistent, and I think it's gonna work out pretty well. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.